Euros may be required to prop up Spain's banking sector, which is riven with toxic debt in the wake of a property market meltdown.
I welcome the formal request of the Spanish authorities to the Eurogroup for financial assistance for recapitalization of financial institutions.
Analysts say Spain is part of the Eurozone debt domino effect.
We have a knock-on effect, which we see not only in Greece, Portugal and Ireland. It now also reaches the crown jewels of the Eurozone, Spain and Italy.
It's why EU leaders are now forging towards a potential banking union with unprecedented haste. A draft document prepared for a leaders' summit at the end of the week reveals banking integration will be at the top of the agenda, as leaders try to break the link between bad banks and indebted governments. Call it a bailout or a rescue, it's still a loan, which adds to a government's annual deficit and overall debt load. That's why many Eurozone countries and the IMF believe the first step in any potential banking union should be legislation change that would allow Brussels to bypass governments altogether and lend directly to the troubled banks. The hope of many member states, along with the markets, is that the European Central Bank will be given sole responsibility for overseeing Europe's biggest lenders, while Europe's finance sector watchdog would have stronger powers of oversight.
We now need a master plan, which steps have to be taken to tackle the problems. We not only need stronger integration, but it must be clear. The German position must let the ECB help with the rescue. The bailout fund cannot do this alone.
Germany remains the most vocal opponent of a stronger role for Europe's central bank, as well as for direct funding of troubled banks. But this will be the first leaders' summit since the crisis began where Germany does not have the automatic backing of France. And Germany's love of austerity above all else is now very much out of fashion in a Europe desperately seeking stability and growth. Jack Barton, CCTV, Brussels.
Rupert Murdoch's News Corporation has now confirmed that it's considering splitting into two publicly traded companies to try and boost shareholder value. Now, this would be the biggest corporate upheaval at News Corp since Murdoch founded the global media empire more than, 30 years ago. Now, the New York-based company says the move would, quote, separate its business into two distinct publicly traded companies. In fact, the Wall Street Journal, which is part of Murdoch's publishing empire, reported on Tuesday that the move would merge News Corp's film and television operations, and that would mean that would bring 20th Century Fox Film Studios, the Fox Broadcast Network, as well as the Fox News Channel into one entity. And on the other side, the corporation's newspapers, there are a whole host of them in the US and the UK and Australia, as well as the publishing business owned by HarperCollins, as well as the educational businesses. That would be the second company. Now, analysts are saying that this will protect its more profitable TV operations from its newspaper business, which currently, among other things, is embroiled in a phone hacking scandal. Welcome back. You're watching CCTV News. Now, Tuesday happened to be the second night shift for China's first ever female astronaut, Liu Yang. And after finishing her work, she performed some Chinese kung fu, bringing both herself and the ground staff a few minutes of entertainment and relaxation. Bijan Liu checks it out.
After finishing her routine tasks and communicating with the command center, Liu Yang strapped down her feet and began warm-up exercises. She then performed some Tai Chi, a kind of traditional Chinese shadow boxing. Tai Chi stresses body, form and meaning while emphasizing balance between yin and yang. Liu Yang's performance is gentle and natural. Tai Chi also provides physical exercise. The program was specially designed for the mission crew by the physical trainer for the astronauts.
Performing Tai Chi is to regulate their breathing and relax their body and muscles and bones. Another important reason is that Tai Chi is a traditional Chinese sports activity.
Tong also accompanied Liu Yang into the return capsule on the day the spacecraft blasted off. She says all the astronauts enjoy performing Tai Chi when they have spare time. The 3-minute-long show by Liu Yang also brought some enjoyment to the staff at Beijing Aerospace Command and Control Center. Bijan Liu, CCTV.
Well, some lighter moments there, but it's passed off so fast, this whole mission. It's time to get ready for the landing. In fact, the landing zone for the Shenzhou 9 spacecraft, it's now gone into operation. Both personnel and equipment that are responsible for the retrieval, search, as well as rescue missions have arrived at the area. It's going to happen at the Sizhiwang Banner. That's in the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region. Now, the weather at the zone is forecast to be sunny on Friday. That's when the capsule returns home. The 3 astronauts on board conducted China's first manual space docking that happened last Sunday with the Tiangong-1 lab module. The landing zone has been used for all of the previous Shenzhou space missions. From outer space to the high seas, and China's deep-sea manned submersible, the Jiaolong, has begun its 5th dive into the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean. The undersea mission this time, though, is set to further test both the functions as well as the stability of the submersible. During the dive, the oceanauts will search for undersea creatures. They will also collect samples between 7,000 and 7,100 meters below sea. They will also try to find markers which have been placed on the seabed during previous dives. The entire mission is expected to last about 11 hours. On Sunday, the Jiaolong set a new record of 7,020 meters below sea. That was during its 4th dive. This means that China will now be able to conduct scientific surveys in over 99% of the world's ocean floor. Fantastic. That should do it in this news update here on CCTV News. From me, Zaka Jacob, and the rest of the team. Thanks for your time, folks. Do join us again if you have the time. I'll be back in 30 minutes at noon Beijing time with the News Hour. 60 minutes of all the big stories that you need to keep abreast of. That's coming up on the News Hour at noon Beijing time.